Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. Today we are starting with Will I Ever Be Good Enough? Notes and review, which apparently is a 10 minutes read or 10 minutes of reading. I heavily doubt that I'm going to be able to do so in 10 minutes. I really do. But if I'm not able to do so, it is fine, it is good, it is okay. But it's a very interesting and maybe even kind of eye-opening read. So let's see. Will I Ever Be Good Enough helps the daughters of narcissistic, it's actually narcissistic, I guess, narcissistic mothers. Carly McBridge explains how the lack of maternal love and support can scar women well into adulthood, and within her lucid and eye-opening analysis, she also provides cures and treatments. Narcissism, something that's really interesting, but also the fact that maternal love and or love when you are a baby is actually really fucking important. And there have also been studies that indeed show that kids, whether it is actually female or male, they are indeed scarred for life. And you can actually date that back, or you can see it when these children are actually 10 years old. I think it was up to kind of 10 years old or something, or 10 years afterwards and whatnot. So actually, the fact is that you can indeed see which child has, or which person has gotten in their childhood a lot of love from their parents and who didn't. And this is insane, and this kind of also, for me at least, underlines the importance of, well, maybe not importance, but what it means to be a parent. It's not just something that you can do kind of part-time and you can just have a bit of fun and whatnot. No, it is something rather serious. You're having so much control and so much influence over this other human being in a very positive way and also in a very negative way. But choosing it in the positive way just makes sense. What you can do to this person, what you can get out of this person by raising this person in the best manner possible, it is insane. This person is able to be super duper fucking strong mentally and physically and whatnot. I don't want to say that your child should be kind of superhuman or whatnot. I guess this is not necessarily the point or the point that I'm willing to make, but good parenting is essential, I'd say. Anyway, so we have a bit of a table of contents here, the bullet summary. By the way, we are on thepowermoves.com site. Fly with the eagles. Well, narcissistic mothers are all about themselves and give no love to their children. Children of narcissistic mothers take all the blame for the lack of love and internalize the idea that they are not good enough. Daughters carry the damaging self-limiting beliefs for their whole life. Daughters cannot have problems getting in touch with their own feelings as well. Well, of course, if you are having problems like that, if you cannot trust in somebody, for example, and just things like that, of course this also is or can be seen in the relationship that you're having with yourself, or this person, or the relationship this person has with themselves, which is unfortunate, of course, but it's what it is, I'd say. Full summary about the author. Carly McBridge, PhD, is a licensed marriage and family therapist with decades of experience in treating trauma. McBridge is also an expert on narcissism and curing victims of narcissism. She keeps a blog on Psychology Today, writing about narcissism and distorted love. What is narcissism? The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM, describes narcissism as a spectrum disorder, which means that narcissism exists on a continuum. One could be a full-blown narcissist, but there can be many more people who have some narcissistic traits to different degrees. As it actually is the case of really often that some may not be depressed, but may just quote unquote have depressive traits or traits to certain degrees. Here are the 9 traits that define narcissism. Grandiosity, with expectations of superior treatment from other people. Fixated on fantasies of power, success, intelligence, attractiveness, etc. Self-perception of being unique, superior, and associated with high-status people and institutions. Needing continual admiration from others, sense of entitlements to special treatment and to obedience from others. Exploitative of others to achieve personal gain. Unwilling to empathize with the feelings, wishes, and needs of other people. Intensely envious of others, and the belief that others are equally envious of them, and pompous and arrogant demeanor, the manner, whatever. With lack of maternal love, children internalize they are not good enough. Love and affection is something every child needs, but daughters of narcissistic mothers don't get enough love. Without enough love and affection, psychological issues develop. Daughters who do not get enough motherly love internalize the message that they are not good enough to deserve that love, and come to believe they are not worthy of love. Some of these daughters carry that message within themselves for years and years, some for a lifetime. Which is fucked up then, of course. On the other hand, I would actually also say that it may work a bit different for male children, so for boys, but just all the other genders, of course, there may just be huge differences between them. So, but I do think, and I'd say it is a fact, that not enough love or getting not enough love as a child is detrimental to your development. I'm not quite sure, so take it with a grain of salt, but because it is mental development, it may also be a factor for physical development, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I would have to Google that. The idea of not being worthy of the love leads to 2 opposite paths. The first one is destructive path, and the second one is perfectionistic path. Which one the daughter takes, says the author, depends on whether they had someone else in the family who gave them the love. Albeit the paths seem polar opposites, they have the same roots. I see. So when there was somebody giving you love, I guess you would choose the perfectionistic path, I'd assume. I don't know. First one, the achievement's daughter. The achievement-oriented daughter wants to prove mother and herself that she is good enough and deserving of love. But the only way she knows how to do that is by doing more and more and achieving more and more. She tries to fill the void with awards, money, great grades, great career, etc. Often she becomes a woman who outwardly seems successful and accomplished, but she never feels accomplished, and what she cannot manage to achieve, she feels worthless. I do still wonder whether this is also applicable to the male audience or males. The self-destructive daughter, on the other end of the spectrum, the self-destructive daughter tells herself, what is even the point? I'll never amount to anything anyway. The expectations of mother were so high and she was never happy anyway, so why bother? She sometimes gets addicted to alcohol, drugs, or food. Read Hung Up by Roxanne and Bright Lines, and strings a bunch of poor relations. Also read How Self-Esteem Creates a Loop of Bad Relationships. My note, the author doesn't mention it, but in my opinion some children may self-sabotage on purpose to prove their independence. This might be more true for men. I know it was the case for me. For both of the perfectionist and self-sabotaging daughter, the path to healing is finding internal validation, which is easily said, but not easily done. Something that I clearly am seeing as well in other people, but also in myself, is this never being satisfied quite, and or always maybe also always focusing on the future, which may also be rooted in maybe not necessarily validation or just the lack of validation from myself internally, but most often it is just a mind game. So many things are mind games. This is as well a mind game. But let's see. Mother-daughter relationships dynamics. Carol McBridge details a few traits peculiar to the mother-daughter relationship. You always try to win her affection, but you can never please her. The little approval is about who she wants you to be, not who you are. Mother emphasizes the importance of how it looks more than how it is. She is jealous of you for looks, age, partners, relationship with fathers, life opportunities, taking attention away, etc. Mother suffocates expression of herself, especially if they conflict with her own needs. It is always about mother. Mother is unable to emphasize, and daughter feels her feelings don't matter. The mother cannot deal with her own feelings. If confronted, she will likely stonewall, clam up, or lash out. Critical and judgmental, uses daughter as scapegoat for own unhappiness and insecurity, treats you like a friend, not a daughter, then can discuss personal intimate stuff and use daughter as emotional props. And the last one, the mother does not respect your boundaries. Dishonesty and appearances. Narcissistic families and mothers sacrifice honesty for appearances. What people think is often more important than what my children feel. You are there for her. Daughters of narcissistic mothers believe they are there for the pure benefits of their mothers, and the opposite is not true. The mothers don't care much for their daughters. Daughters try hard to be good girls, and daughters grow up believing that if they only try hard to be good girls, they will get the love they need and crave. That if they really manage to please people, then they will get some love. Daughters suffer more than sons. Apparently, according. Daughters suffer more than sons. A narcissistic mother sees her daughter as her own extension and puts pressure on her to either be exactly like her or to be exactly like she wants. The daughter is raised to try to be exactly like her mother wants her to be, and they can also often be jealous of their daughters, while they rarely are so of their sons. Indeed, the author says that most daughters who have brothers report their being favored over them. Exception being if they get married and bring a woman in the family. What? It says that most daughters who have brothers reports their being favored over them by the mother. I'd assume if they get married and bring a woman in the family. Well, this is interesting. Let's actually see. Are daughters favored by mother? Do parents have a favorite child? Yes, but it is not who you think. Are mothers harder on the daughters? Daughters, yes. Do mothers favor their daughters? A study by researchers based on... Can you actually see that? Yes, you can. Consumer psychology suggests that mothers actually favor the daughters while fathers favor the sons. Well, it's by the Daily Mail, so I may not know. Do parents favor daughters? Oh, I'm sorry. That's been my microphone. Well, I'm gonna. Women are split. 31% want a girl and 30% a boy, but 43% of men prefer a son to 24% who prefer a daughter. Economists have studied this boy preference extensively, notably in a groundbreaking analysis by blah 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 blah. Okay, this is not what I've been searching for. Do mothers prefer daughters or sons? Women really do prefer daughters, and men slightly prefer sons. According to new research by Finnish and American scientists, women were significantly more likely to see a girl as good and invest more money in them, while men showed a slight preference for sons. Again, by the Daily Mail, by the way. Daily Mail, not maybe male. Male, well, you know what I mean. Do mothers favor daughters and fathers favor sons? TheScienceDaily.com. I'd assume that this may be a bit more accurate. Full story, isn't there like a summary? Mothers are more likely to spend money on daughters, and fathers are more likely to spend on sons, despite the fact that parents think they are spending equally, new research indicates. And there we go. With that being said, I'm gonna see you the next time. I at least hope, and bye bye.